Oh, so nearby, Brad and Lucas, and slightly further away, Nisha, who has no interest in this conversation. What are we talking about today?
The Snyderverse.
So, Lucas, because we know they're going to be there, all the weirdo Snyder fanboys in the comments yelling at us, you had a pretty on-point thing to say just before recording started. Would you like to repeat that now for the audience at home? About like, why are we still talking about this?
Yeah, I said if they get to beat a dead horse still, then so should we.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I would not have any interest in talking about this universe. If that movie just came out, was, you know, a solid 6 out of 10, and then went away forever, I wouldn't want to talk about it. But
No.
it refuses to die.
Snyder fans have made me hate it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's if it was just a regular, 6, 7 out of 10, depending on how much you like, the effects. Because a lot of people talk about how good the effects are, right? The portrayal of Superman's powers. Not Superman himself, but his powers is very interesting. That'd be fine. But it's the insistence that it's high art. Like, it's this undiscovered masterpiece that no one appreciates. And it sounds like, no, it's just a movie that's okay to bad, depending on...
Just leave it alone.
Yeah. For the most part, people like Marvel movies. They go watch the Marvel movies, they talk about it for a little bit, maybe have discussions here and there, and then they wait for the next thing to come out. But with the Snyderverse, there is no next thing to come out. Well, at least not, according to every trade paper in existence, and Zack Snyder himself, except when he doesn't. But those fans are like, well, no, bring it back. Bring it back.
Restore the
Snyder. And that's give a mouse a cookie.
And it's like every month it goes trending again on Twitter or some shit like
Restore the Snyderverse. Restore the Ayaverse.
Yeah.
Like, let the guy who made Suicide Squad make another one. How about no? You had James Gunn make one and it was fucking great.
And then Homelander was apparently really good as well.
Peacekeeper.
Homelander's the guy from The Boys.
Boys,
I've
yes.
just watched The Boys trailers, that's why.
Okay.
Peacekeeper was really good, yeah.
Yeah,
apparently.
and just that intro alone. The intro, like the dance.
Yeah.
The dance alone is better than anything Snyder put out because you know what? It's fun. The joke that I keep making that becomes more and more relevant with every passing day as his fans get more and more crystallized in their opinion and more binary in their like and dislike of like all superhero media that isn't his stuff, is that the only reason those fans think his movies are deep is because they're too stupid to understand symbolism in other movies. And as a result, they think all those other movies don't contain symbolism. And they do. They do contain metaphors and symbolism, and they have a wider message that applies to the real world. They're just too stupid to notice. But they're so self-centered, they can't see that.
It's like that thing that you say quite often, isn't it? Of like a kiddie pool seems deep when you haven't seen the ocean.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, those movies do have all of those things, but they're quite like surface level and on the nose a lot of the times.
Yeah,
whereas
that's the planet Zack Snyder hails from, planet on the nose.
yeah, and just that's why seemingly just a lot of people's first like favorite movies are Snyder movies because they're shallow enough that people can get them early on.
Yeah.
It annoys me so much because
It does, yeah. And we're probably a bit messy in our criticisms of this. And that's because the universe itself is a horrible mess.
I watched Snyder's Justice League when it came out. I actually quite liked it because it was an improvement on the original. I didn't think the length was very bloated, and the fact that they just kept having random songs, and every time Wonder Woman turns up, they play a theme. It's like, but it was fine. And then now
Again,
I hate it.
A 6 out of 10. But yeah, it's been pushed as this amazing work of art that nobody appreciates. It's like, you got what you wanted. You got, like, Zack Snyder got $60 more million, every actor back, even though they like fucking hate it in every scene. Like, I think like the post-credit scene, so yeah, I'm going to spoil Justice League if you've not seen it. It has a post-credit scene that sets up a sequel that's not going to happen, and that I fucking hate.
It's got loads of them though. It's got the Nightmare one. It's got the one with Green Lantern. Is it not Green Lantern? Is it Green Lantern? No, it was going to be Green Lantern. Then it's
Martian Manhunter turns out.
And then they've got the one with Lex Luthor and Deathstroke.
And that's the thing.
Oh shit!
And that's why I hate it, because Zack Snyder, he knows that his fan base is this committed to this, and he knows that if he teases them with this stuff, they will never shut the fuck up. And maybe they'll bug Warner Bros. Enough to give him more money.
Yep.
And that's why, because he knew what he was doing. He got given all that money, all that time, access to the actors. Finish your story. Now we're going to tell different stories. You get a chance. You've got what no other creative ever gets. The ability, finish your story. And he left it open for a sequel so that his fans will never shut the fuck up about it.
Even after all this is finally done, the Snyder Cut version is out there, there's still a group of those fans that insist that was actually the cut that existed. It's like, it's on record that they got like $60-70 million and did 6 months of reshoots.
They had very public reshoots, and that's the thing. Like when you watch like the post-credits scene they put in, and like Ben Affleck, he's literally crawling out of bed for his kids, like, and he's so fucking done. He's like, oh, do you know, like the picture of him during the pandemic, where he's like getting Dunkin Donuts and just smoking outside his house? I can only believe they would do it during the reshoots for Justice League, because he's got the exact same energy in the Justice League in the reshoots, and he just give him a fucking Dunkin Donuts and let me go home.
He must get harassed by Snyder fans
all the time,
who are like, "We want you back," and he's like, "I'm sick of it. Leave me alone."
Well, that's the thing. Some of the actors do like it. I think Ray Fisher, because he famously got shat on by that movie.
Yeah.
But even he, I think, took it too far. And do you know what I'm going to say here, Lucas? When he had a very choice quote for people saying that the DC, like the Snyderverse, is no longer canon, they're trying to move in a different direction.
I don't remember what the quote was. No.
He tweeted out, "What the fans say is canon, it's canon."
Oh,
and that's not how canon works.
It's literally the opposite of canon.
If that's how it works, I'm a fan. I don't think it's canon. What now? And the thing is, I get it. The guy wanted to get paid. He wanted to get paid.
And he apparently got treated awfully, and like a lot of his stuff got cut out of the movie. Which, you know, that part is shit. But don't defend it by saying that everyone can just make up whatever the fuck they want.
So the fans are right. Like we're doing it for the. You're not doing it for the fans. You're doing it for this very small subset, very vocal aspect of the fans. And like we say vocal because they're in the comments right now, and I know as well they're not going to engage with any of our criticisms because they never do. And even when they do, they ignore them. So I think the crystallization of like my problems with Snyder and his take on this universe is always the scene with Pa Kent.
Yeah.
And we've told about it multiple times, but for audience members who don't know,
let the children die.
Yeah, let the children die. It's like Superman saves a bus full of children, speaking to Pa Kent after the fact. And I know what the Snyder fans saying, you're not understanding that scene. I've got a literal degree in media theory. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. That's why this pissed me off as well. It's like, you don't know. I fucking do. I've got a degree in it. I know how to read film. Anyway.
But he doesn't ever say kill the children. He never says yes, Karl.
And that's the point, yeah. So and he says, Clark Kent asks him, what was I supposed to do? Let them die. And Pa Kent says, maybe.
What was I supposed to do? Just let them die?
Maybe.
And that's the thing, and this I think sums up Snyder fans. Because he literally doesn't say the words, let the children die, they defend it as like, well, he didn't say that. It's like, but that's what's implied. All that symbolism you talk about being present in these movies, that's also part of it. That's like, you know, something that's not directly stated, but is otherwise inferred by what the movie is showing you.
Like, Zack Snyder wanted that to be a conversation in, like, Superman's world.
Yeah, he wanted it to be morally ambiguous that Superman should use his powers to save people. And that is something they double down on and triple down on throughout the movie, of Superman being repeatedly told by his two parental figures, sometimes you don't have to save people, sometimes you've got to be selfish with your powers. And then there's the other thing of like, you know, it's the father worried that his son might be taken away and experimented on. I get that, I just don't think the scene works. But whenever we mention this in any video, you go scroll down to the comments and you will see people, he doesn't say let the children die. It's like, but that's what he's not saying it, but he is saying it.
Yeah, Man of Steel is by no means the worst of them.
But it's like,
there's a lot of little things. Like when he trashes the truck.
Superman, don't use your powers for selfish reasons. Also, Superman destroys a guy's livelihood.
Yeah, like he is petty. He doesn't get in the fight, but then straight immediately afterwards, he's super petty about the situation.
And then when you mention that, Snyder fans say, what, and they try and do that thing, that disingenuous thing of, well, so Superman's supposed to let that woman get harassed. And it's like, oh, so now you get the idea that when someone says something, that's not what they're saying. Now you get that idea when it's like, you know, it supports what you think. It's like, no, I just think in my head, Superman would handle that differently.
You know, I just want to point out that Superman is literally meant to be better than all of us.
Yeah, he's supposed to turn.
And instead he just goes, oh, fuck this guy, and trashes his car.
Like, they made a point in those other Superman movies earlier. They always showed Superman saving a lot of people. Or, like, I think the Reeves one gets a cow of a tree.
Come on. It's all right. Here you go, miss.
Gee, Thanks, mister.
Yeah, and that's a problem. I remember like the only tweet I've ever had to mute that I've ever sent out is one where I talk about Superman saving a cat out of a tree. I want to see that in the Snyder movie. And I had a bunch of people like, what, so he should save a cat out of a tree instead of like, saving buildings full of people? It's like, that's not what... And again, when you, like, suddenly they're able to, like, infer something from a sentence that wasn't otherwise stated. Right? The point isn't that Superman should go save a cat out of a tree instead of helping a bunch of people from a burning building. It's that Superman would do both. Because both are the right thing to do.
I think the only time that Superman inspires hope in any of those movies, which is what he literally stands for.
Yeah, he even says that himself. What is that? It's hope. It means hope. Just...
And the only time I think he is when they're at the... Is it the start of Batman vs Superman where they do the montage of him being a Jesus allegory?
Yeah.
That's the only time he ever stands for hope.
Which itself is horribly offensive because Superman was created by two Jewish guys as a Moses allegory, not a Jesus one. And Snyder's too fucking stupid to realise.
I also don't like that scene as an evidence of him saving people because Snyder shows him as being a god.
Which he's not.
And it's not meant to be that. He's meant to be that people may see him as a god, but he's a normal person.
And do you know who knows that? Batman. Because one of my favourite quotes about Superman is from Batman over here. It is a remarkable dichotomy in many ways. Clark is the most human of us all. Then he shoots fire from the skies, and it's difficult not to think of him as a god. And how fortunate we are that it does not occur to him.
Yeah.
And like that is Superman distilled down to 25 words of he is a god, but he doesn't think of himself as one. He doesn't think of himself as above humanity.
No, because...
Nothing is above Superman. Like even saving a cat from a tree. And that's why I think one of the best Superman moments when he stops and talks to them kids, because that's a very Superman moment. Stopping, he saved the day, but then he goes and talks to the kids.
Yeah.
Superman, can we ask you some questions? It's for our podcast.
Well, in that case.
Yeah,
you can't talk. That's the Justice League.
Oh, is that what they call it? The
Justice League is what they call it, yeah.
Oh,
they're not very good at coming up with things. They're about as creative as the person that they idolise, so I see it that way.
I'll probably talk about this more. I want to do a video on one of my workshop videos on the other channel.
On the side channel, yes. Which is easy promoting. So people who like Zack Snyder, go yell at Brad on the side channel.
What was that called? The side channel?
The untitled side channel.
The untitled side channel, yeah. Link and card and description. There's a way I think you could save Man of Steel if they'd done a sequel to it which covers the points we're making. Superman feels remorseful because his first outing as a hero, he didn't live up to who he thinks he should be. Yeah. And the film's about him redeeming himself in the eyes of humanity.
And that's what they tried to do with that opening montage. It's course correcting for everyone. He caused 9/11 with his eyes out 4 times over.
But he's never seemed to be remorseful for that.
No.
He just flies away, and then when the government's trying to track him, and he spikes the drone into the ground, I don't like people spying on me. It's like, you destroyed a city. Yeah. Why would we not track you? You're the most terrifying thing on this planet.
It's the bit where he makes out with Lois in the crater.
As I said, it's a 6 out of 10 movie. The only problem is that people keep insisting that it's better than it is, and that's my frustration. It's like, we wouldn't be talking about it if his fans didn't keep trying to bring it up. Yeah. It's and if they just had just the self-awareness to be and just say the thing, I like it. That's all they have to do. All they have to do is say, I personally like this movie, but they don't say that. They say, it's the best movie. It's no, it's liking something is subjective. On the internet, especially, there's no such thing as nuance. There can never be any grey area. You either hate it or you like it. There's no room for that discussion in the middle, which is where I think all the fun stuff lies. We could not have this discussion we're having now with a Snyder fanboy.
No.
Because they would not engage with that conversation at all.
You can like the Superman flying around scenes and not like the Parkhead scene.
Yeah, so I can like the way Superman's powers. So let's give some positives on that movie. I love the power portrayal of Superman. And I appreciate Henry Cavill, both behind the scenes and on camera. He's a really good Superman. He's a good Clark Kent when he's not got terrible lines or direction. He's he looks the part as well. And there's a story from behind the scenes that I think sums up how good a Superman he is. They still have the Christopher Reeve Superman suit. Well, they still have that. That's in storage somewhere. And when Henry Cavill was cast as Superman, they made him put that on. And he was really nervous to put it on. And he was like, I'm really scared to put it on. This is the costume. This is Superman. Christopher Reeve was Superman. he is Superman. What's going to happen? He apparently put the costume on. Nobody laughed. They all just went, "You're Superman now." And he liked being Superman, and like he was really good in the role of Superman. I wish he had better movies. I wish he had more time to be Clark Kent. Like you see Clark Kent being a nice guy in that movie. Like he's like the mild-mannered reporter Clark Kent, and we only have a few glimpses of that in The Man of Steel and the other movies. We don't really see him as like the character I think Henry Cavill could be, with more time to flesh the role out.
Before this video, like before the camera stops recording,
Yes.
How would we see that video that Brad's gonna make?
I mean, the Untitled Side channel, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Where we're supported by Patreon.
Yeah, yes.
Oh yeah.
That's what, this is supposed to be plugged
Yeah, I
in
was
that
like,
money.
guys, is anyone gonna remember that we haven't done that yet?
I'll tell you what, salty Snyder fanboys, if you want to directly message one of us to air your complaints personally, if you subscribe to the Patreon and send us a message with a tagline, "You're wrong," we'll read through it and we'll respond. And no, I'll say, for the first week or month after this video goes out, we will respond and we will do so in our not in a sarcastic, we won't tell you to fuck off and that. We'll try and respond to your criticism directly.
Take it on board.
Yeah, we'll do what you seemingly can and take criticisms on board and respond to them like an adult. That's for Snyder, not